You can say turn on the hallway light, which is really nice, and it doesn't matter who's the manufacturer of that.
Well, so what devices are you using for your home automation stuff? Is it Zigbee or is it?
Yeah, most of it's stuff that I built, and I am also using Z-Wave.
And so how do you tell it which device is the hallway light?
For me, I have an API, and you pass in a message, and it knows which one to route it to.
So you got a lookup table that you create.
Yeah, except for my lookup table. I coded this a long time ago, and I need to redo it. It's a big embarrassing because it's gotten to be huge, but and it's not the way I coded it today, and I'm getting ready to refactor, but yeah.
So your team members, they can mock you, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, they will, they do. So there's basically 2 steps you need to do if you're programming. Look into it, and I think that that Alexa can invoke your, sorry Alexa, off. That she can invoke your API anywhere, but it's really easy to use the Lambda one with AWS, and that's what I used. And let me show you that console. And basically the AWS console, you upload code in it. And maybe before I show you the console, I'll show you just a little bit of the code. Okay. So you can, I've got a link that I'll show you that's got a whole bunch of sample codes. And that's how I was able to build this so fast, is I looked up a hello world code and then I tweaked it. And this is all Node.js, it's all JavaScript. And so there's just a few things in it that are interesting. You set up a JSON with your intents, and there's 2 intents in this. One is the hello world, and then the help intent. And then here's where the handlers are for those intents. And I wrote this Spitfire function, and all the Spitfire does a post into the API for Particle to do it. So let me show you that real fast. So here's the, and I didn't try to hide anything from anyone. So if anyone were to write this down, they could turn on my Twitter pumpkin, and if you do this post to it now, I'd be impressed. So if you guys want to do that, that'd be sweet.
It's like a 17-digit number.
Yeah, it's a lot to know. But this is the device ID. So it's actually coded to this specific one. I also have it coded to a event when I show you the particle code, that it's looking up an event. And that way I can control with my watch too. I should have had the app loaded on my watch, but I push it on my watch, and I'm using if this then that. I'm using a do button, it'll spit the fire out. And it also has this access token, so that's part of the query string. And it just does that post. So here's basically the 2 intents. Welcome to the Charlotte Internet of Things. So you can say hello, and then like the reprompt. So ask greeter. No, Alexa, ask greeter.
Welcome to the Charlotte Internet of Things. You can say hello. You can say hello.
So she does it twice. Hello.
Hello, Charlotte Internet of Things.
And then basically the function I wrote calls a function at the end that, where is it? Oh, here. It just, when it's done, it calls this function, which is a tell with card. So there's also an app you have with Amazon, and it has cards, and it shows in the cards all of your requests that you say, which I think is really cool too, because if anyone in the house asks to do music or ask questions, then I look on my app and I can see any conversation anyone's had with Echo, because they show up on these cards, which I haven't told my family yet, because I like to be able to know what they're asking and talking about without them knowing. It's just really fun.
They're calling you NSA.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Okay, so basically then you take your code and All you have to do with it is zip it up. So where I got projects and Alexa and samples. You basically will take all of your files and you zip them up and you make one single file, and then you go to the console and you basically upload that zip file, and that's how you make your changes. So the debug cycle is a little bit slow because you have to change your code and then zip it all up and then upload it. If I were using Gulp or something like that, then you could make that all one process where it does the zip for you anytime you change a file, and it makes it a little bit easier. But it really didn't take very long to add that in to make it talk to Particle. And then you can go to your configuration and just configure basic things like the handler, and you have to set up a role, and the runtime for Lambda at least it's Java, Node, and Python. You set up your event source to be the Alexa skill kit, and then that way then she sends the events to you that you handle, and then you're essentially done. That's all you have to do on Lambda to update your code. Then you go to this other dashboard. It's the Alexa developer console, and you can configure certain things on it. Here's my Hello World app. So let's say edit, and there's just like greeter is what we called it. So if I were to change this to like ask the Reaper or something for Halloween, then you could say ask the Reaper to say hello, and it would spit fire. So here's the JSON file with my intents in it, and then you can give it hints on like things to know. So I really don't know much a bit more about this, but I found that in one day I was able to make a watermelon spitfire. I thought that was pretty cool, and half of that time was carving the watermelon. And here's the particle code. So for those of you guys who attended the Photon Lab today, Particle has a really easy API, and what's easy about it is you don't have to install an IDE or anything on your computer. It's all up in the cloud. The code's in the cloud, and then you flash your device over the air to it. And so, like, it's not something that necessarily I would do for a product in the enterprise, but if I want to make a quick and dirty demo app for someone, and I want to like impress them that I can do something really fast, then this platform couldn't be any easier. You write your code, it's written in the Arduino wiring language. It's just basically essentially C, and you can see here that this is the Spitfire event that if this then that was triggering it with, and then this is the function that I'm using for Alexa to trigger it with. And the code for it couldn't be really any simpler. You just post to the Particle API, and it invokes it for you. And basically, here's the Spitfire function, and it turns the flame on, does a little count, and turns it off. So it's just a very little piece of embedded code. And what's really sweet on it, then you can go to your device list, and like I've got a 20-foot Christmas tree, and we've got 5 shirts. So the Twitter shirts that we built were all on this. And we're using if this then that to monitor Twitter to post to the shirts, so that was like dirt simple too. But you pick your device, and then you can publish the code to that device, and that's all you have to do to code the device. It's really simple. Any questions on the code or how that all works? Yes, Bruce.
Are you using PubSub or something to get the data when you subscribe?
Yeah. So. For the event, the if this then that is publishing the event, and then on the embedded side, all you have to do is do a Spark subscribe, and you're subscribing to this event. When you get this event, call this function, and then do it with all your devices.
So that's still through the if then?
If this then that is publishing the event,
Okay.
but the subscription is on the embedded side.
Okay, so you're using that for all your commands then? If then this?
No, so the only thing I'm using on if this then that is this one. I decided to make a function for Alexa, and so when I'm doing the greeter, it's not going through if this then that. It's going straight to posting into Particles Cloud, and then Particles Cloud is calling this
Okay,
function.
I got you.
Yeah. Any other questions on that?
I have a question about Alexa.
Yeah.
Did you ever do any kind of packet sniffing to see what kind of data is going out to Amazon, to see when it's sending data?
No, I think that'd be really sweet though and fun to do. What I think it's doing is when you say Alexa, it triggers it and it starts recording and building essentially a file and then sending that up to the cloud for processing. I really don't know more than that, but that's what I think it's doing.
Yeah, lots of people have Wiresharked it for the obvious reason that they want to see if it really is sending stuff all the time. That doesn't mean it's not listening all the time, because it can send it later, but,
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was the key. It
yeah.
will send only once you say Alexa, so.
But they at least weren't obvious about it, at least that's what they're doing.
Yeah, I would think that smart people would figure that out pretty fast.
Bye, shopping.
Die, Microsoft, die.
Sorry. No, I'm one of
Just checking.
the people who love Microsoft, but
Take Uber.
yeah, and as you see, I do play in other spaces too. But here are a whole bunch of cool URLs and resources with Echo. So you can take a snapshot of this, but there's a whole bunch of test videos, and the YouTube video is pretty long. I didn't have time to listen to it, but I think it would be useful to listen to it. And I went straight to the code, and the sample code was really easy to figure it out.
What's the Alexa voice service at the bottom there?
Ah, that's really cool. I was glad you asked about it. So Alexa's making it so you don't need to have an Echo, or Amazon's making you don't need to have an Echo. You can have a Raspberry Pi, and the Raspberry Pi can call the service.
Bring your own microphone.
Yeah, you have to have your own microphone, and
The only difference, they want a push button, right?
oh, do they?
Do they?
That's what they would, I was saw a video like that and say.
Oh,
But I don't think for at home nobody would care.
Well,
I would
surely
care.
people in this room would be able to come up with a microprocessor that would listen for an audio thing that would then trigger the button.
I don't know, man, maybe
Exactly.
a fake button press? Huh.
yeah.
That's crazy talk.
Yeah, that's good stuff. So that's really all I have on the API. Yes, Mike.
So I listened, and I thought I'd hear, but I didn't. Is there any public skills? Is there any skills that are shared among
Yeah.
the community of Alexa?
Yeah.
Or is Alexa only your Alexa and it only knows the skills you give it?
There are skills, and
I'm not sure what you meant by that question.
yeah. I actually installed a couple of skills, and they were like drinking games, but I don't remember what they were.
It must have worked.
Alexa, ask drinking game.
Sorry, I can't find the answer to the question.
Yeah, so you can. There's no store that you can like have charge money for the skills and buy skills. So if you want to make money on it, you have to do it through your cloud some other way to make people pay you. It's not built into the Amazon API yet, but I'm sure that's coming.
And Amazon doesn't have any public skills that are in a giant list of things or communities of skills.
They do, and I know I can get it through the phone app, and there's a way to get it through the browser, and I wish I was more knowledgeable on it, but like public Alexa skills.
Yeah, I get spammed about every 2 or 3 days with them telling me a new skill they have.
Yeah, I forget where you get to it, but I bet you Alexa.
Probably have an email, so.
Does Alexa ever wake up and start talking to you and saying, hey, want to learn a new skill that I heard about on the internet?
I can't find the song. Talking You Insane in your music library
Be quiet,
on
Alexa.
Prime Music.
So if you're doing an app, one thing that you have to do is you configure your skill and you tell it how long do you want it to be to time out. Most people put in like 3 seconds to time out, but you can put in a big amount of time, and then you could have it actually, like after a long period of time, start talking and scare you. That'd be fun. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you give me some ideas, but
Like you need anymore.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and after it does that, it bursts into
Well,
Back
yeah,
light.
Yeah. So I mean, while she's running your skill, I don't think she's running any other skills. I think she's totally focused on your skill, which is
multi-threading.
yeah. But you can do things like Alexa, play rock music.
Power Rock on Prime Music.
So when she's doing other things, you can say, Alexa, ask reader.
I'm in love with an
Welcome to the Charlotte
angel.
Internet of Things.
Heaven
She is hold on, Greg.
forbid. Make me a believer.
She's about to fire. Hello.
Touch of the skin.
Well, that
Hello,
implies.
Charlotte Internet.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Alexa off. Alexa off. Yeah, you're right. I really don't, am by far just a 6-hour expert on it, but it's really fun. It's really fun to do things. Yeah.
Can you push data to it? Like, let's say, instead of asking it, like, calling it first to say, Alexa, whatever, could you push, like, something to it to make it talk to you, like,
No.
answer the question?
Yeah, they've got it pretty tight where you have to say the keyword, and I think you can configure the keyword to be Alexa, Echo, and something else, but you have to be one of those things, and I think it's smart of them to do that because then everyone knows what product you're using and it gets people to buy their product. But yeah, Mike.
So I'm not sure where I heard about it, but somebody told me that Alexa's capable of, I forget the little toy animals that used to talk to each other, but basically you could combine Alexas and not just in your household, but across households where you would say something to Alexa, like I would say,
Mm-hmm.
Alexa, remind Dan Fire to pick up, the Raspberry Pis at Snap AD on Tuesday.
And a fire extinguisher.
And it would do that. It would do a messaging to your Alexa and cue a task that would then send a reminder to you.
But it was doing it from the other Alexa
Well,
listening
yeah,
to it.
I was talking to Alexa, and instead of the response
Yeah.
coming back to me, it was coming to another Alexa. So that's what I was interested in is if these things start cooperating,
Well, until Skynet takes over the planet?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, where does it stop? Alexa's listening all the
Yeah.
time. Alexa's-
Yeah, that actually-
then Alexa says, oh, Dan's been,
Yeah, because you're programming in all the intents and you're handling the events from the intents. So yeah, what you're doing would not be that hard because your code's up in the cloud. You just have to call someone else's, talk to someone else up in the cloud and
There's other questions, like for instance, does Alexa's Lambda, when it executes, is there any cost involved in that? Or when you buy Alexa, do you buy access to unlimited
Yeah.
compute power where you're telling Alexa to go do stuff in the cloud for you? And I could put, complex mathematics up there and we could all be speaking equations to Alexa and getting them to solve them.
yeah. So
Alexa, compute pi to the last digit.
oh no, she did it. Alexa off. Alexa off.
Sorry, for those of you who don't know, the Star Trek original series had to get rid of Jack the Ripper from the computer by asking it to compute pi to the last digit.
No, that's right.
Oh wow. I had insomnia last night and I didn't sleep, and I knew the answer to your question, but I don't remember what your question was. What's your question again, Mike?
The cost of computing in the cloud with
Oh, yeah.
Alexa, is there any cost to the end user of computing in the cloud with Alexa?
Okay, so I'm using the free version of Lambda, and when I signed up for it, they asked for your credit card. It's kind of like Azure. When you sign up, you put in your credit card. And so it's not costing anything, and there's a developer instance that costs like $45 a month or something, but you get a certain amount of free calls. Yeah.
If you're just a developer, you don't get any special thing just by buying on Amazon. You're just a developer. Like
Yeah, you're just using Lambda. You're no different than anyone else using Lambda.
So if you do try to calculate pi to the last place, you're gonna get a bill.
Right.
And then Jeffy's drones are gonna come and haul you off when you don't.
Well, I'm wondering about all the non-developer Alexa users, if there's any computational costly task that they're going to, Amazon's gonna find out.
Well, Amazon has to fight that bullet, that's their problem.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought it was really cool though that for a free account I could get on there and push some code and do something interesting. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have. Thank you guys for coming to Queen City IoT Day. It's a fun event.
Great thing.
What is the Internet of Things? Is it hardware, software, or both? Well, chances are you already have it in your pocket. It might be on your wrist. Recently popular are fitness bands with accelerometers and gyroscopes to monitor our activities and heart rate. Now we have smartwatches which do all of that, play music, and they can answer messages. Smartphones and tablets have replaced maps, secretaries, alarm clocks, entertainment, and now they can control our homes, change the TV, the temperature, security, and lights all from your device. Our cars are even getting smarter with sensors to keep us safe. The Internet of Things is simply using technology to mimic the human experience and simplify life. What?
I just hope